Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about things that makes a senior developer upset when it comes to junior code. So let's get into it. Well, I think there's only really one thing that kind of ticks me off when I see a junior. I might be different than I wouldn't necessarily call myself a senior, but like a more experienced programmer, let's call it that at least, than a lot of the juniors out there. So there's really only one thing that really ticks me off when it comes to software development, and I see somebody else write code, and it's not necessarily a problem with just being a junior, but I see this happen quite often with juniors. It's not that often I see other more experienced coworkers that actually do this sort of thing. And the thing that really ticks me off is when I can very clearly see that the person who wrote the code have absolutely they've made a really sloppy job. It's you can I can because some quite a lot of the time when I work with junior coworkers on a code base where of course I've worked there a little bit longer, so I know how things work. When I can see that they haven't actually thought all that much about this problem, all they've really done is to copy paste code from some other kind of relevant section of the code base, put that right in without thinking about what they're doing, and then kind of just making it work. And I mean, I've seen things like people just copy pasting stuff in, and then there are unused variables, or they haven't even changed the names so that the names of all the variables are pretty much, I mean, they're not in line with what the problem context is, so that it becomes like confusing. And this is you in my world not respecting your work enough. And I mean, it's not like I can't understand why it happens. I mean, what would you do yourself? I mean, I've done it myself a few times when I was a junior, and I mean, you're overwhelmed with the problem. I get it. I understand that it is complicated. I understand that the code base is massive. I understand that you feel enormous pressure over impressing me and and the other more senior experiences, because you're scared shitless what we will think about you. You're scared shitless about being too slow. You're scared shitless that we will fire you because you can't meet standards. I get all of that. But when you do something like that, when you give in to that panic, or or it might not even be a panic, it might just be that you don't care enough. I don't like to think that that's the case, because I do think that most software developers actually care about what they do in some fashion, some more than others, of course. But all that happens is that you very clearly prove that you're not taking this seriously, or you prove that you don't actually understand this problem, and that if I see you do this, it's more likely, honestly, at least I will find it more likely that I will be frustrated with you and complain to my boss, or like to, kind of create an issue for you if you do this. Because the fundamental part, and then this is kind of the beautiful part about programming, there's no luck involved. Either you do understand the problem and you solve it in a correct fashion, or you don't. So when you copy paste something that you don't fully understand, you're taking a massive risk. You're just hoping that you understand enough of the problem so that it fits within, or so that it fits, like so that it actually is the correct thing, right? And that is a big gamble, because as I said, I've seen it many times. I've had to have fairly, like, it always starts out in a very nice tone. I try to be accommodating, but when you see the same person make the same thing, you do the same mistake over and over and over, you start to lose your temper a little bit. Well, I wouldn't say I've never actually been angry with any of my junior coworkers. I've just tried to explain to them in this tone that, well, you remember I told you this a few times now, you need to do it this way, and then you do the same thing again, and I say, well, you remember what I've told you, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to think about it. And as I said, I understand it. I understand that it's not easy to digest, but if you don't respect your code and your work enough to either ask for help or to really understand the problem that you're solving or something like that, then you and I have an issue. So basically what I want you to take away from this is that, at least me personally, The thing that frustrates me or makes me the most upset when I see a junior coworker like making an implementation of something is when I can very clearly see that they've only copy pasted template code from somewhere else, or they have basically not thought about the problem. They've done really sloppy work. It's to the point where I'll probably will have to rewrite this, or I'll have to just close my eyes and say, yeah, it kind of works, but it's not really a good solution. Where you can very clearly see that this could have been done in a much more efficient fashion. It's not a matter of skill. It's a matter of that they didn't take the time to actually understand the problem or ask for help or something like that. These sorts of things, and of course, if they try to be really clever when they're actually not, it's a shot in a million that a junior coworker will get a really advanced solution to work properly. But some of them actually really try to do that, and it comes down to the same thing as with everybody. They try to impress you, or they try to indulge their engineering gene or whatever. And all of these things are things that lead to the same thing. I have to deal with this fallout from your work, because I very likely will either have to ignore the thing that you just did and just accept that you're a junior, you're learning, or I have to rewrite it, or I have to send you back to the code and have you redo it, which makes everything takes longer because of that. So yeah, make sure that you respect your work and that you really understand the problem that you are solving, because if you're copy pasting code and I can see that you didn't understand what you were solving, I'm going to be upset. Have a great day.